make us who we are. So I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is.
Welcome everybody to the M&M show. You're here today with all things spiritual, all things metaphysical, and mediumship with Michelle and Maren. And hello,
Hi, everyone.
Maren.
Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing
good. Oh my gosh, you kind of broke up on my end, but I know that we can hear you on your end. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
There we go. You're back. Should we just stop this and start
I'm
over?
back. No, I think that's fine. I think it's good. It's no problem because somebody muted me.
What?
Am I muted again? Yeah.
No, I heard you. I just can't. Yeah. What do you mean somebody muted you?
Yeah. Well, this is what happens, and we all know who it is, because every once in a while, not only will we see hands pop up on the screen, but my volume, and so it comes up on my screen, right? My volume bar, and so like I'm touching nothing. I have my little thing hanging off of me, and it has a mute button, but you have to press it and hold it, right? So I can't just touch it. I can't just lean against something and hit mute. So I watch the bar go up on the screen and go all the way down. So,
oh my God.
And that's Eric. Eric does that all the time.
Eric.
Does he mess with your stuff during readings? I know he does with other people too. Haven't you had him do that?
There was something he did the other day, and I was like, that's totally Eric. I can't remember what it is right now. But yeah. I want to show you, I got this beautiful plant at the store today. Isn't it so pretty?
Oh, that is really pretty. What is that?
Yeah. It's a jumbo premium calathea.
Oh, I love it.
Calathea. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, I think it's so beautiful. So I'm so excited to have a new
that's a beautiful energy. Yeah. The beautiful energy on it. It's so luscious and big.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. You can use that to cleanse your aura when you're sitting there.
How do I do that?
Well, you use the auric field of the plant. You connect your energy to the plant and ask it to help cleanse you. Because remember, everything has consciousness. Everything has an energetic vibration. Plants are amazing. They're amazing for cleansing our space, our oxygen, everything. Plants can do wonderful things. Absolutely wonderful.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to start doing that because that's
Think
amazing.
of the earth, right?
That's actually kind of on topic with what I wanted to talk to you about today.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Are we talking about plants? Okay.
No, but like running your energy. So, so I was listening to James Von Prague, and he was talking about how the interviewer asked him, are you open all the time? Do you see, ghosts and spirits everywhere you go? And he said, oh no, you want to make sure that you have a sacred space and that you are intentional about opening and closing. He said that he knows several mediums who have gotten diseases and illnesses from not being able to run their energy appropriately. And that it's very taxing on your limbic system. And so that made me really nervous because I obviously, don't want to venture into this path and then get a random, disease from it because I'm not doing my energy right. Because I totally believe that. I 100% believe that we are reading people's energy. We're taking on people's energy during these readings, and energy is what causes disease. So how do I run my energy appropriate? Like, I don't want that to happen to me. So I want to make sure I'm running my energy appropriately. So I feel like connecting to the aura and what you said, clearing my aura with the plant.
Clearing your auric field with the plant by connecting to it.
It's definitely probably along the lines of that.
Yeah.
So that's good. But
There's like setting the, no, that's interesting because this is kind of what we were talking about back in August when I was sharing about being sick. And,
yes.
when you were sending me the message, Eric was saying, connect to the ground. You said, get out to the ground, put your feet on the earth, get in the sunlight. So what I gained from all of that was that, and Eric has been instrumental for me because that's who I connected with. Like the first time I really connected with spirit to have guidance was Eric, right? Like I connected with my grandmother and with other souls, but it was more like in dream visitation or just knowing their presence was here and that sort of thing. But Eric did a lot of my teaching. And so I find that how I learned to cleanse my energy was really through trial and error and having
Okay.
Eric help teach me through my experiences, which I've always been a visual learner. Like the experience, seeing things, knowing how they operate was much easier than reading a book for me or anything because I needed to kind of understand how I felt in it, actually doing. So, the things that I understood in the beginning, and this is kind of an important part to remember, is there's going to be things that we do in the beginning of when we're consciously connecting with spirit. And truthfully, not all people are going to need this same kind of energy work that, say, somebody like you and I and others that are doing it all the time, doing readings all the time, because we're not running that energy through us all the time. But the more you do, the more that you are focused in non-physical worlds, which is we naturally are. We are multidimensional. But the more that you do, the more energy that you are working with. And if you're empathic, you're very sensitive in energy, you already know that you can become drained easily with other people's energies. So
Mm-hmm.
learning how to create boundaries in your own life, that is a number one place to start. So before you're starting to work with boundaries in spirit, start to work with boundaries in your own life. And this is with people, places, and things in your life. So, where are you taking on other people's energy in your life, right? Where are you doing that? Where are you giving power to other people? So, understanding that and also knowing that's a process. And I'm not saying you have to perfect that before you do other things, but you want to be aware of that. You want to be aware of your own personal energy and maintaining that throughout the day, because there are so many things. Like we have so much energy that is built up. We have an infinite amount of energy that we're connected to, but we're still here having a human experience. We are human beings. We have physical bodies, and we are navigating through many different levels of energy throughout the day. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't always know what's behind everything as well. So you want to really
Mm-hmm.
say, where am I putting my focus? So where am I spending my energy? A lot of us spend a lot of time in the mental space.
Mm-hmm.
So, something may have happened. We're trying to figure it out. We're focusing on something. So we can drain a lot of energy in that way. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one component of things. Um, so for yourself personally, ways to protect your energy would be so through visualization, visualize putting a band of white light around yourself. Pay attention to where your focus is going. Know when to say yes, when to say no. Work on those types of things. So that's one component of it. So then when we get into, all right, so you're doing readings. No matter how many you do in a day, you want to, and when I first started out, I was, okay, I want to make sure I'm grounded. And the
Mm-hmm.
process of doing a reading for someone else when I first started is very different than what I do today. Because in the beginning, I wasn't doing as many. And so I would have like a good half an hour before I would start to do a reading where I'd make sure I'm grounded. I've got my protection. I'm doing all these things. And Eric had always said, those things are not, because they are connected to belief. Everything has belief, right? And we
Mhm.
solidify our intentions the more that we do it. It's like that becomes part of us, that becomes part of our reality. So doing those things in the beginning doesn't mean you're always going to have to do those things all along, but you want to do it and be able to feel the effect of continuing to do that. So I was very certain that I would, I know who I'm communicating with. I know that I'm connecting. I only want to connect with, these people's guides, their loved ones, whatever. So I was making it very clear in my
Mhm.
intentions of what I was doing, very clearly saying, I know I am protected. So even in my
Mhm.
meditation, everything. Now that would work for a while, and then I would start to get unwell. Now, something I didn't share with a lot of people that did happen, but when I first started doing readings for other people, that was in, trying to think, I started doing them in 2016. So by 2017, I was on channeling Eric. Was it 2016? End of 2016. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But when I was first starting that, I was still getting some treatment because I was getting reoccurrent infections. And
Wow.
I was still on a lot of medication. I was doing readings with people didn't see I had an IV bag, IV drips going,
Oh my gosh,
right? So
Michelle.
I was actually sitting in bed with an IV bag hanging on the side and doing my readings, doing things, and nobody knew what was going on, right? But I was also, what was happening was the readings that I was doing were raising my vibration so much, right? So I was getting a lot of healing working with other people because that source energy would be running through me. And I knew that because I
Wow.
knew of how I felt. So I was working very hard on watching where I was putting my energy. And it wasn't something I could explain to anybody, but I had to draw back from some people in my life. I had to make changes because I was watching where my energy was going, where I was becoming depleted. And it wasn't really the readings that were doing it. It was people. It was in my life. It was my personal energy. So that's why I say the boundaries in that are so important. So once I had started to do that, I would notice the difference. So when I go to do my readings, my set vibration. So it wasn't like I wasn't working as hard to raise my vibration. My vibration was rising naturally. So I wasn't trying to reach some point to be present with spirit. It was happening more on a natural basis. And at the same time, the infections would happen less and less and less until they stopped.
Wow.
And that was done. So it was like this science experiment that I was going through to really learn what was happening in my day-to-day life, what was happening in working with spirit with other people. I was able to really see for me where I needed to make changes. And because I was journaling a lot, which I've showed many times in my journals all through that time, I would record how I felt. I would record the experiences I was happening so that I could look at the patterns. And Eric was always saying to me, write everything down because it'll make sense to you. It'll help. And it has helped a lot. So then fast forward, okay, we're ramping up to more and more sessions. We're doing more, doing more. So as things would start to come up more, I was always having to check again what's going on in my life. Where am I not balanced? Now, for me, and for most of us that do this work, balance is very important. So when we're connecting to, um, am I balanced mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually? So where am I too far this way? Okay, am I too much in my mental space? Am I pushing my emotions down? Am I addressing my emotions? Am I feeding my body properly? Am I giving my body? Do I need to ground myself? Right? Am I doing that more? And this is what I came to in August. Am I more in that mental, spiritual space grounding myself? And do I actually need to physically ground myself? Do I need to connect
Mm.
to the earth? So it's these things that worked for me at one time in one way and then needing to no, I need it more physically. So it's really listening to the body and listening to what's being guided to us, and then paying attention to how we feel with it as well. Because just like James Van Praagh said, there was a time where I was like, oh no, I'll be open all the time. I'm open and on all the time. I can't help it. I can't stop it. And that's what I told myself. That's just the way it is. I've always been open this way. Well, I've always also been in my past. It would almost be very ungrounded all the time. Whether it appeared that way or not, that's how I felt. So doing this work is continuously asking ourselves, okay, what do I have to assist me? And what do I need to do? So in the beginning, I would clear my space between each person. Do I still do that? Yes. I do that with Palo Santo. And I don't do a big episode or anything. But when I'm done a session, I light my Palo Santo and I actually just do this and brush the energy off, and away we go. Other things that I do is I move things around on my desk and clear my desk and, clean underneath my desk just to move that energy. I don't do that between every session, but, at least once a week, I'll go and give everything a good wipe down and that sort of thing. The other things are also, because it's our auric field. So remember, everything, like you're saying, everything is energy, right? So everything's going to come into the auric field. So another thing is boundaries with our readings, right? So this is a process that you learn the more that you do sessions. So it's saying I'm offering 60 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever that was. Okay, so in the beginning, I used to offer half an hour readings. They were never half an hour. Like they just weren't. It was hard to squeeze it in a half an hour because, as you know, just so much comes out, and so a half an hour wasn't cutting it. So I bumped it up to 45 minutes. Well, it was never 45 minutes. So I had to work my way into an hour. Now, I also used to offer 60 minutes and 90-minute sessions. And I don't offer that. I stick to the 60 minutes because the 90 minutes was too long for me. And trying to do other sessions, it was tiring. I just couldn't do it anymore. So I found my sweet spot. It was in 60 minutes. Now, somebody else might find differently, but here's the thing. I set the intent with spirit that it was important to stick to that 60 minutes because it's important for my own health. It's important that I set that intention and that I follow that, because you're giving your 100% full attention to somebody else. It is in their space and with their guides and everything, but you also want to follow your own boundaries, and it helps other people as well to do the same for themselves. So it's not like 60 minutes comes up and it's like, bing, okay, bye. It works with spirit, because when you set that intention, the energy rises up in the top. It's easier to connect. They all come through, and the energy will start to go down. Have you felt that before when you do sessions? It's like they're very present and then they start to pull back because they're also helping you to close down, knowing that that's what's best for you. So when you set that intention out, then it happens that way. So you have to honor that as well, because they're helping you. So you honor that. And of course, there's times where you're going to go over and you're going to talk a little bit, or there might be a reason why. But on the regular, you want to keep yourself, keep your energy clean in the way that you're honoring your time. Because that's the biggest thing. Respect your energy. Respect your time. Respect your boundaries. And when you do this for yourself, you give the gift of other people being able to do that for themselves, because it has nothing to do with not wanting to help or be there for other people. It's saying, I can give you my all for this period. I'm showing up for my all for you, and I am bringing through with my whole heart everything. But I also know that there are 4 other people that I'm going to give my all to today. I also know that I have my family and all of these other things where I want to be present for. So we really have to make these choices when it comes to, and I'm just getting reminded too that, and when we do this, this is another reflection of self-love, these boundaries, the clearing. And so do I do anything else at this point? Other than my daily, every day I do run through my chakras, but like I said, it might be that button I press on the wall when I'm in the shower. Like that's where I do most of my cleansing, is in the shower. Sometimes I'll wash my hands, and do some clearing in that way, but I do it when I feel I need it. So other than doing the clearing with the Palo Santo and stepping out on the grass, and sometimes I do that now more than once a day. Like I do it every morning and I do it every night. I go out with a dog or go out water flowers and that. I'm doing that.
Yay! I'm
Yes.
so glad.
And
I'm so
it
glad you're doing it.
really has made a difference for me. It
Wow,
really
that's
has,
great.
because despite the, other things, because like I said, life still happens. Things are still very busy around here,
Yeah,
but I don't feel as pulled in it. So I
yeah,
don't feel the overwhelm as much. But
yeah.
those things, and from my own personal experience, it is how we are to ourselves and with other people behind closed doors that makes a big difference in how we feel doing our mediumship work. Now, I don't see spirit walking around behind people every day. And I do set the intention that once I'm done, I'm done. So they're not following me or with me or anything else like that. But I also have asked my guides to work with me when I'm out in public to help me with my vision, with my physical vision, because I do see molecules and light and things like that. And I'm very fascinated in seeing people's auric fields and what I can see in them. And so, like I've said before, there's like certain lighting in grocery stores and places like that where I want to see that. I want to have that experience. Now, do I go up and give readings to people? No, I don't. If there was something that happened, and I'm very open to this, if there was something that was really important to be said, then I've always set the intention that they will make that known to me. They will make it very clear to me, and
Hmm.
there are certain signs that will come up that I'll know it's the right time to do that. But it doesn't happen. Like very seldom. Once in a while, especially if somebody I know I bump into, something might come out. But for the most part, unless I purposely focus in that way, it's not going to happen. But I will say the other day, we have a store called Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada, and it's like a little drugstore and a few little grocery items and stuff. And I was in there picking some things up, and I came out and I watched this couple walk across the parking lot. And the man was just a couple steps behind, and I could see his auric field. And when you see someone's aura and they're walking, I don't know if you've seen this, and it kind of looks like it's trailing behind them. It has this kind of like effect like that when you see it. Well, it was really big behind him, and I could see the trailing, but then connected to that, there was a huge, tall energy of what I was told. I asked, "Oh, is that a guardian angel?" That's what I felt it was, and got a yes. And so I watched, and I'm sure I must have looked ridiculous going, like, why? But I'm like watching this light, and it was all going in the same motion. But you could see like the presence. So you know that it's more than that egg shape of the field, right? But it's like a presence that's with it. So I thought that was really cool. So things like that do happen, but not and I know there are some that say yes, they see spirits everywhere all the time.
Hmm.
But I see them in my third eye. I might see
Yeah.
somebody and
Well,
see
and I
something like
guess
that,
that's
but
it's kind of like where you put your intention, right, and effort.
yeah,
And so if
yeah,
you want to make that happen, you can, but if you want to protect your energy, then just try to keep it in
yeah,
a more sacred space, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
There is one thing that you talked about that I want to learn more about. So when you're cleaning your chakras and going through your chakras, you said in the shower, you just push a button. But for all of us that need a little bit more help with cleaning chakras, it helps to visualize it first, right? And
Yes.
then once you get good at it, then you can just kind of press that button.
Yes.
So what do you do?
So for that, what I do is I visualize. So for my chakras, in the showers where I like to do it, and so I visualize everything being open. So there's like a tube, which there is a tube of light that is from, like, we've got meridians, so we have more chakras than like the 7 that we mostly focus on. But so I imagine the crown being open, and then I just visualize that light running down and like almost like a leaf blower, just blowing everything
Got it.
clean, cleansing it. Sometimes I'll even envision if there's an area that I'm drawn to that feels like it needs a little more, it's like polishing it, like cleaning it right out. And
Okay.
so once they're all spinning, everything that needs to be let go of, I have it go right down the drain and visualize it going right into the earth. And I always thank Mother Earth. I say, thank you for taking that. And rather than just giving it to her, thank you for taking that and transmuting that into the energy of love and blowing it back to wherever it's best able to help. So wherever it needs to be. And so that is my daily ritual. And so
Okay.
when I'm in the shower, that's the easiest way to do it. So even though, and there are times where I will run through it, I'll feel like I need to slow down and actually go through it. But a lot of times I just go in the shower and I know that when I press the red button, which is like I'm visualizing the red button, I press the red button, I know that that's clearing. I press this button, I'm releasing. I press the next button, I'm aligning, right? So all of those are set so that it's not this big 20-minute event that I'm going through, that I do that. And then when I do my meditation, I'm focusing on the connection. I'm focusing on connecting to the energy, of feeling the energy and whatever else comes through in meditation. So I
Okay.
do all the other stuff separately.
So when you're clearing your chakras, when the tube of light, do you stop at each chakra for a minute
Yeah.
and like kind
Yeah.
of like pulse it or something and then
Yep.
go to the next one and then
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so once you get your intention set and you feel good about it, then you can use a word to replace that if you want to. Like if you want to say a word, like if you want to say clear, you can go clear, 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 whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
So just to make it easier. But if you like going through the whole process of it, do it. It's whatever feels right for you. If that is better, because
Mhm.
it's all about our belief,
Mhm.
and what we feel that we need. And visualization for me is that's a big thing. It's always been big to visualize. And if you don't feel the need to do that, or you don't have time to do that, it's better to at least have something in place than nothing at all,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, good. Well, I'm going to start doing that. I need to do that more regularly. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that and then work on boundaries. So that's good.
Yeah. That's the
A lot.
biggest one.
Yeah.
And we work through that as we change, what we need changes,
Mhm.
what we don't need. So in personal life, in everything, and that becomes easier, because you
Mhm.
become less, when you set a boundary that's good for you, it's going to be good for somebody else, even if they don't see it, or they don't, if you're setting a boundary that says, I can't be with you, I can't physically be with you for whatever reason. And, maybe that person needs to be able to do things on their own to get through whatever they're doing. And they may not want that, or, however they see that. But the more that we practice doing what's right for us, we're not going to hold on to guilt and hold on to, it's like working through all of those things, because there's a huge benefit. That is the healing process. And so the more that we
Mhm.
do that, the clearer we become. So we know what it is that we need. We're able to see things easier and feel things for ourselves. Because you can do mediumship and you can show up and you can connect and then shut that door and still be doing all kinds of other things over here, but to really give yourself the gift of growth, of true growth, is knowing and behaving as everything is connected, because it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like
Yes.
it. And so running your energy is more, it's more about protecting your energy and clearing your energy and boundaries. And it has a lot more to do with not when you're in the readings, but just in every day
Yes.
versus when you're in the readings. Okay. I like that.
Yep. Me too.
Okay, good.
Works well.
Feel good. Hope we can avoid all those, you know,
Yeah.
diseases and illnesses and whatnot that you could get from not running the
And
energy.
remember, like there's some things that were, that happen that have different, like everybody's got a different path for different reasons. So there are some things that'll happen that, are going to happen no matter what. And it's to remember that, but we do have control over a lot of things in our life. And so when we learn how to really, really run through good, clean energy practices, because remember, your spiritual body, your energy body is just as important as cleaning your physical body
Yeah. Oh,
at all times.
gosh, that's kind of scary because it's like, yeah, I take a shower every day, you brush your teeth every day, but
Yeah.
do I clean my chakras every day?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
And once you start doing it, you're going to feel better and better and better. So it's just kind of getting over that hump, because you've got to have a bit of momentum to start to
Okay.
really feel the benefit of it.
Okay. Okay, good. Yay.
Okay. Yay.
Good.
All right. Well, another great session. Another great session, Maren.
Yes. Thank you so much for all
So
of your
welcome.
invaluable information and knowledge and advice. I really appreciate it, Michelle.
No problem.
It's the best.
Oh, you're the best, Maren. And you guys are the best too.
That's
All right.
right. Thank you all so much.
We'll see you guys next Monday.
So yeah, we'll see you next Monday. Have a great week, everyone.
Have a good week. Bye, everybody.